Welcome to Wrestler of the Week, week number 10. It pretty much works like this. If you are a professional wrestler and you made the most impact over the past 7 days, you will be named Wrestler of the Week. Every week, points will be tabulated, and whoever has the most points at the end of the calendar year will be named the male and female Wrestler of the Year. If you want to see what I use as criteria for Wrestler of the Week, check out my Week 1 episode. We are now a week removed from WrestleMania, and the post-WrestleMania buzz is still in the air as things begin to settle. So what are the next major feuds? Let me say this. The wrestling world was rocking this week for some great reasons and for not so great reasons. But man, did it make this week's Wrestler of the Week the most interesting one yet. So let's just get right into it. First, the women and some honorable mentions. Chelsea Green continues to be one of the most entertaining talents in all of WWE, even if she gets her ass kicked on the daily to Jade Cargill twice this week. First in a singles match on Raw, and then in a tag match as she and Piper Niven lost to Cargill and Bianca Belair. It is also great to have Piper Niven return after her injury. We got a couple of title defenses at Spark Trailblaze as Ram Kaicho defeated Viva Van to retain her Spark Joshi Pacific title, while Saki bested Vert Vixen to hold onto her Spark Joshi Atlantic title. Bianca Belair made her presence felt on SmackDown, tagging with Jade Cargill to defeat Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. And now the top wrestlers of the week for the women. Kicking off the countdown at number 10 is Mercedes Moné, who is now part of one of the more intriguing angles that kicked off on AEW Dynamite, as during an interview to promote her facing the winner of the TBS women's match between Willow Nightingale and Julia Hart at Double or Nothing, the lights went out, and when they came back on, Moné was laid out. Who did it? Why did they do it? Could it be Chris Statlander looking out for her friend Willow Nightingale? Could it be Willow herself, making sure she doesn't make it to Double or Nothing? Could it be timeless Toni Storm, who made a reference to her in an interview this week? Or perhaps another talent that may be about to make a return? Cough, DDS cough! Who knows? But Moné now has a story for fans to follow, and hopefully the payoff is worth it. But for intrigue alone, Mercedes Moné finds herself in the number 10 spot. The number 9 entry belongs to a couple of talents from Spark, where we saw a wild double title change that happened at Spark Trailblaze. First, Sumi Sakai defeated the first ever and current Ring of Honor Women's Television champ Billie Starkz to win the Spark Joshi World title, who would then drop the same title to Starlight Kid. It was a wild night, almost like the women's version of Night 2 of WrestleMania 40, where we got an unexpected double title change, but it was lively, that is for sure. Congrats to Starlight Kid, the new Spark Joshi champ, but she and former champ Sumi Sakai are at number 9. Coming in at number 8 are the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champions, the King Beast, Charity King and Danny B, who defeated Pretty Empowered, the team of Ella Envy and Kylie Page on NWA Power in a Pretty Rules 2 out of 3 Falls match to retain their tag team titles. The number 7 spot is for the Queen of Glow, Naomi, who on Friday Night SmackDown defeated Tiffany Stratton to earn a number 1 contender shot against Bayley's newly won WWE's women's title next week. It is great to see that Bayley plans to be a fighting champion if she is already defending on SmackDown, and Naomi is a great first challenger to showcase Bayley's talent in the ring. If you want me to be honest, I am not expecting this match to end definitively, as I think a specific Tiffany Stratton may have something to say about who will really face Bayley for the title. But Naomi got the Duke this week and is the number 1 contender, and that lands her at number 7. Coming in at number 6 are all the participants surrounding the AEW Women's Championship. Timeless Toni Storm, Thunder Rosa, Deonna Purrazzo, Mariah May, and also Mina Shirakawa. On Dynamite, Storm and Rosa were supposed to meet for a toast, but Storm attacked Rosa and Purrazzo came out to make the save. Immediately after, Mariah May defeated Anna Jay that gave us the debut of Mina, who is Mariah's stablemate in Stardom and did have a reunion last weekend at Stardom American Dream. Mina planted a kiss on Mariah, which threw everyone for a loop. Then on Collision, Toni Storm defeated AZM from Stardom in a non-title match. Deonna Purrazzo proclaimed she was going to break Mariah May's arm next week, while Thunder Rosa cut maybe her best promo ever, as she gave an emotional recanting of the story of her vacating the AEW Women's title and how she worked to get everything on her own. This feud has layers, and I dig it, like Macho Man digging a grave for a buried alive match. Finally, AEW is trying to include their female roster in some more high-profile programs and are trying to tell stories with them, and it's about damn time. The combatants who are involved in the AEW Women's title feud is at number 6. At number 5 is Jade Cargill, who had a fairly busy week. Following up her big win with Bianca Belair and Naomi versus Damage Control at WrestleMania, Cargill pretty much killed both Chelsea Green in her debut on Monday Night Raw. Then she and Bianca Belair obliterated Green and a returning Piper Niven on SmackDown. Cargill is now officially on the main roster, and I am fine with her being introduced to the WWE fans with a few squash matches to showcase her strength and presence before getting into a main feud. The key is making sure she isn't spending 6 months destroying others aimlessly. But I don't envy whoever decides that they want to make a name off of Cargill and that kickstarts her first main program proper. But for now, Jade is here, she is here to wreck shit, and she finds herself in the number 5 spot because of it. Our TBS Women's Champ Julia Hart and her main challenger for her title, Willow Nightingale, find themselves in the number 4 entry on the countdown, and they both had a very busy week. Willow Nightingale has inserted herself in the feud brewing between Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe against the House of Black, as she came out to aid Adam Copeland as Julia Hart led a beatdown from Brody King, and Willow came out to chase Hart away. Also this week, Hart successfully defended her TBS title against Layla Hirsch in a quick victory that, honestly, I hope is not an injury. We haven't had any reports confirming or denying, but hopefully we get the promised match between Hart and Willow at AEW Dynasty because I believe it can be a sleeper. I love it when feuds and stories and wrestling intertwine, and this is one of the better cases in AEW. I do believe the end game is Willow taking the title and facing Mercedes Moné at Double or Nothing, as a reverse of when Moné and Willow met when Moné was IWGP Women's Champion. So much intrigue, and I am here for all of it. For now, Julia Hart and Willow Nightingale are at the number 4 position. The number 3 entry belongs to Ring of Honor Women's Champion Athena, who followed up her big Super Card of Honor victory over Hikaru Shida with a successful title defense at Battle of the Belts against Red Velvet. As I said last week, it feels like Athena as Ring of Honor Women's Champion feels like she has accomplished all she can in Ring of Honor, approaching 500 days as champ. So showcasing her on an AEW show may hopefully be the start of her moving up to the AEW roster proper. Athena has hit her stride as champ, and feuds between her, Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné, Willow Nightingale, Julia Hart, Chris Statlander, and more all sound like potential bangers. Hopefully these happen sooner rather than later, but for now, we have Athena, the Ring of Honor Women's Champ, at number 3. Just missing out of the top spot is Stephanie Vacker of New Japan, who at New Japan Windy City Riot defeated AZM in a great sprint to defend her New Japan Strong Women's title. Ever since Vacker defeated Julia in their great match earlier this year, a lot more eyeballs have been directed at Vacker's way, and she has handled the pressure of being Strong Women's Champ in a great way, delivering in the ring and just being a general badass. This is another career I will be following closely as she progresses and evolves her in-ring style and persona. But this week, Stephanie Vacker is the number 2 female wrestler of the week. And the female wrestler of the week for week number 10 is the prodigy and the new NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, who had a monstrously great week. First, she made her first WWE appearance as the new NXT Women's Champ on Monday Night Raw with a great debut, defeating Indy Hartwell. She was very over with the Philly crowd, and I'm already wondering where WWE is going with her. On NXT one night later, she successfully defended her NXT Women's title against Natalya in a good match. Roxanne Perez is just hitting her stride as she finds herself as a heel, and she has taken to it like a fish to water. I am always down for more Roxy on TV, and now it feels like a matter of what show, Raw or SmackDown, will Booker T's prized pupil will land on. Roxy is just another great talent in the latest evolution of the WWE's women's division as we move deeper into this new era, and I see the prodigy fitting as a major piece of that puzzle. She had a busy week and it was well earned, as Roxanne Perez is the Week 10 Female Wrestler of the Week. And now to the men and some honorable mentions. Now, I did not mean to miss this last week, but I'm going to give him some shine now. But yes, Big Bronson Reed won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and that was a big win for him. Our current AEW champion Samoa Joe put up a great fight against Dustin Rhodes, but eventually Dustin learned that everyone respects the champ. Except maybe Swerve Strickland, who has truly made his presence known as they prepare for their war at AEW Dynamite. LA Knight and AJ Styles both won triple threat matches in a mini tournament, and now they will face each other to determine Cody Rhodes' first title defense for his newly won WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. John Cena made a surprise appearance on Monday Night Raw to aid Awesome Truth to defeat the Judgment Day. Braun Breaker shared a great farewell with Baron Corbin after losing the NXT tag titles to Axiom and Nathan Frazier, but he came back in a major way, destroying Cameron Grimes on SmackDown. Javon Evans defeated Scripps in his debut match on NXT, and I am telling you now, watch out for this kid. We saw a bunch of new champions crowned in New Japan. Shingo Takagi defeated Evil for the Never Openweight title at New Japan Sakura Genesis 2024. The Mighty Dope Neil defeated Gorillas of Destiny, Fred Rosser and Tom Lawler, and the West Coast Wrecking Crew for the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. And Bishamon won the IWGP Tag titles by defeating Bullet Club, Chase Owens and Kenta, while Bullet Club War Dogs and Show would successfully defend their IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles and IWGP Junior Heavyweight titles, respectively. Also, at AEW Battle of the Belts, AEW International Champion Roderick Strong defeated Rocky Romero in a very good Eliminator title match, while Hook defeated Shane Taylor to defend his FTW title. And now the top 10 wrestlers of the week for the men. Kicking off the countdown is NXT champion Ilya Dragunov, who had a very busy week after WrestleMania. First, he made his main roster debut in a great little sprint against Shinsuke Nakamura. Dragunov got a great reaction from the crowd and was into his unique brand of visceral violence. In the end, Dragunov picked up a big victory in his main roster debut. Then one night later on NXT television, he would have a great face-to-face with Trick Williams to confirm their NXT title match at NXT Spring Breaking before both got attacked by Carmelo Hayes. Dragunov was declared as eligible for the WWE draft, which I believe pretty much confirms a main roster call-up, and I am stoked. There are way too many matches I am just losing my mind over thinking Dragunov can have when he is called up. And the possibility we get Ilya versus Gunther too? Sign me up. Our current NXT champ Ilya Dragunov comes in at number 10. The number 9 spot belongs to Jey Uso, who on Monday Night Raw, with a little bit of help from one Second City Saint, won a fatal 4-way number 1 contenders match against Drew McIntyre, Ricochet, and Bronson Reed, and now has a date to meet Damian Priest at Backlash for the World Heavyweight title. This is Jey Uso's second opportunity at a world title, and it is becoming clear that Jey is really beginning to live up to his moniker of main event Jey Uso, and I believe this will not be the last world title opportunity Jey will see. In fact, I am pretty sure that at some point Jey just may end up becoming World Heavyweight Champion in the future. I think this potential match between he and Damian Priest has the opportunity to steal the show, so I am very excited to see Jey pull out this win and given this vote of confidence in the aftermath of WrestleMania. Jey Uso, the number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, comes in at number 9. We have the current AEW TNT champion Adam Copeland coming in at number 8 as Copeland defended his TNT title against Penta Zero Miedo in a good match on AEW Dynamite. Copeland is doing his best to play himself up as the fighting babyface champion, and it looks like we have a new immediate challenger in Brody King as he attacked Copeland after his title defense. I am not sure what AEW's potential endgame with Copeland may be. It could simply be Copeland and AEW using the title to spotlight some talent and get them some exposure, or to eventually kickstart a major feud. But for now, it is nice seeing the rated R superstar back in his element, having a good time, and I am enjoying the trio of Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe as they seemingly are also feuding with the House of Black. I love me some Copeland. This is my boy from my city. We were both at WrestleMania 6. I'm always going to support him. Adam Copeland comes in at number 8. The number 7 spot goes to the new NXT Tag Team Champions Axiom and Nathan Frazier, who won what I think some would say was an upset victory over the Wolf Dogs, Braun Breaker, and Baron Corbin on this past week's post-Stand and Deliver NXT. This was a rematch from Stand and Deliver that saw Breaker hitting an amazing running shoulder, Axiom hitting a moonsault to the floor, and a beautiful springboard 450 splash. But eventually, it was a golden ratio to Baron Corbin before Frazier hit a 450 for the win, and this is Axiom and Frazier's first run with the titles, and they are a great, high-octane, fast-paced team that can work with pretty much anyone, so I can see them being booked as a pair of fighting champions, and it looks like they already have a major challenge ahead of them, as the Authors of Pain didn't allow the new champs to celebrate and laid them out. Can Axiom and Frazier overcome? We will see, but congratulations to the new champs who come in at number 7. At number 6, we have the new WWE Undisputed Universal Champion Cody Rhodes. Damn, it feels good saying that. And the final boss, The Rock, who had a gripping, confusing, and intriguing segment to kick off the Raw after WrestleMania. Cody came out to celebrate with the WWE faithful in Philadelphia before being interrupted by the Brahma Bull. It seemed as if The Rock was trying to give Cody his flowers, but the crowd in Wells Fargo would barely allow him to get a word in. It was one of the most awesome fan reactions to a wrestler I've seen. Things got tense as the two traded their People's Champion and WWE Undisputed Universal title belts to hold. The Rock informed Cody that he had to go away for a while. but when he returns, whether or not Cody is champ, the final boss was coming for him. He then palmed something in Cody's hand before warning him to never break his heart again. Once more, we got two amazing, larger-than-life characters playing their roles to perfection, with Cody continuing to be a babyface that can evoke genuine emotion, while The Rock just continues to evolve and reinvent himself as this menacing heel figure. But what is most significant about this whole segment is that it drew nearly 3.2 million viewers to USA for Monday Night Raw, the highest viewership in over 4 years. By pretty much every metric, WWE is absolutely crushing it, and it is in part to these two specific superstars. Man, what a time it is to be a wrestling fan. The American Nightmare, the new WWE Universal Champion Cody Rhodes, and The Rock appear on the countdown at number 6. The top 5 on this list begins with the New Japan World Television Champion Zack Sabre Jr., who won an amazing match against Matt Riddle at New Japan Windy City Riot to capture the New Japan World Television title in under 15 minutes. The two traded submissions before trading off stiff shots, and Sabre focused on Riddle's bare feet. It was just a brutal barrage of blows before Sabre was able to stack Riddle for the pin, and this is Sabre's first reign with the title, ending Riddle's 49-day reign. It looks as if Jeff Cobb may be the next challenger, and that has the potential to be a real sleeper hit. Sabre continues to show through his technical expertise why he is one of the best in the world, and it is always great to see gold around his waist. Sabre always seems to kick it into higher gear when he has some gold to fight for, and I am salivating over future matchups Sabre will have. For week number 10, Zack Sabre Jr., the New Japan World Television Champion, comes in at number 5. The number 4 entry is the pair of, is this Bloodline 2.0? Bloodline Red and Black? Anyways, it is the pair of Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga who made a major impact on WWE SmackDown, as Solo seemed to cut his Triple H night after WrestleMania 14 promo, where he declared that losses in the Bloodline has consequences, and after telling his brother Jimmy Uso that he loved him, boom! In came Tama Tonga to absolutely destroy Jimmy before wrapping a chair around his neck and having Solo kill Jimmy dead with a running hip attack in the corner. What made this whole segment even better was Paul Heyman's selling of all the chaos, and the fear in his eyes when there was nothing left but carnage was tremendous. We are now officially in a real new chapter in the Bloodline story, and I am very, very interested in what direction we take from here. But what an impact Solo and Tama Tonga made this week, and it lands both of them in the number 4 spot. The number 3 entry goes to the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Tetsuya Naito, who had one hell of a busy week, but one in which he earned his money. First, at New Japan Sakura Genesis, he defeated fellow stablemate Yota Tsuji in a very good match to retain his title. Then 6 days later, went toe-to-toe with Jon Moxley and gave it his all before eventually falling to what felt like the 50th Death Driver to take the pinfall loss and lose the title. Naito is now 0-2 against Moxley as they last met in the G1 Climax in 2019. Naito was not even able to make it to 100 days as champ after defeating Sonata at Wrestle Kingdom 18. I am sort of interested in where Naito goes from here at this point of his career. He has held several major titles in New Japan, and his body isn't getting any younger, with some parts of this match showing how his body just isn't what it used to be. But still, to participate in 2 amazing hard-hitting battles defending one of the most prestigious titles in the world twice in 1 week? Yeah, that's a pretty boss thing to do. Tetsuya Naito comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is the brand new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley, who had a wicked, insane week in New Japan. First, at Sakura Genesis 2014, he and Shota Umino would defeat House of Torture, the team of Jack Perry and Ren Narita. Then at New Japan Windy City Riot in Chicago, Moxley would step up to the plate and won a war against Tetsuya Naito to claim the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Naito was unable to put Mox away with Destino, and it took several death drivers, but Moxley finally put Naito away. Moxley is now the first person to ever hold the WWE, AEW, and IWGP titles, and it seems if we are going by what took place after the match, Ren Narita and Shota Umino may be his next challengers. I know a lot of people get on Mox, especially with his sometimes cartoonish use of blood in his matches, but it is clear he is enjoying what he is doing and is content in his current place in the professional wrestling landscape. In interviews, he sounds genuinely happy, and whenever a pro wrestler is able to figure out their final form, and I think Mox is there if he isn't close, I am genuinely happy for them. Mox works his ass off to entertain the fans, and I applaud his efforts. Congratulations to Jon Moxley, the brand new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, who on any other week would land in the number 1 spot, if not 4. And the wrestler of the week for week number 10 is the Second City Saint, the voice of the voiceless, and my favorite pro wrestler of all time, CM Punk, who had one of the most insane weeks any pro wrestler could have, and the fact that he isn't even cleared to wrestle yet makes this even more significant. On Monday Night Raw, Punk made his presence known, interfered in the fatal 4-way number 1 contenders match, and prevented Drew McIntyre from getting a one-on-one shot against Damian Priest. Then, perhaps more maddening, on AEW Dynamite, AEW, the Young Bucks, Tony Khan, whoever made the call, aired the all-in fight footage between Punk and Jack Perry, and to call that a miscalculated backfire would be an understatement. Later, in the very same episode, when the Young Bucks came out to celebrate with Kazuchika Okada, the AEW crowd chanted for CM Punk. Oi. This whole incident accomplished 2 things. Unfortunately, made the promotion I do adore in AEW look a little second-rate, and 2, it just added to the aura of CM Punk as someone who just stays on the lips of the professional wrestling landscape unlike few people in history. Every podcast, every reaction video, every wrestling news and opinion outlet pretty much drew the same conclusion. CM Punk is a lightning rod. Only a few people in history have appeared on shows for different promotions in the same week, but this feels crazier than Rick Rude or Lex Luger showing up on Nitro after just appearing on Monday Night Raw. Somehow CM Punk has found himself feuding with Drew McIntyre and all of AEW at the same time, and this week, he somehow got the best of both. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Mission accomplished. CM Punk is the wrestler of the week for week number 10. And now the standings for the male and female wrestlers of the week. Yeah, That's my top 10 wrestlers of the week, and I'm sticking with it. All I'm going to say is this: play stupid games, win stupid prizes. What did you think of my picks for Wrestler of the Week, week number 10? Do you agree or disagree with my choices? Share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.